And the soccer headlines on this first Saturday: 35 goals are scored in the First Division. Champions Liverpool are involved in a 6-goal thriller at Norwich. Watford equalise in injury time after Gordon Strachan had given Manchester United the lead on his league debut. New signings Clive Allen and John Chidozie score as Spurs win 4-1 at Everton. And there are wins for promoted Sheffield Wednesday and Newcastle United. In the Second Division, newly promoted Oxford win 3-0 at Huddersfield, but Wimbledon, having led 2-0, are held by Manchester City. And north of the border, the Old Firm, Rangers and Celtic battle out a 0-0 draw. And the other headlines this afternoon: in the Test match at Lords, England have struggled to 105 for 2 in reply to Sri Lanka's massive 491 for 7 declared. The big race of the day, the Waterford Crystal Mile at Goodwood, was won by the odds-on favourite Roussillon, while Comanche Run, the winner of the March Stakes, is the new St Ledger favourite with Ladbrokes. In the Jerton Open Golf, 48-year-old New Zealander Bob Charles has a 3-stroke lead going into tomorrow's final round, and the Marlborough McLaren of Alain Prost will be in pole position for tomorrow's Dutch Grand Prix. Well, football reports coming up shortly, but as always at this time, we have the full classified football results, and we welcome back our specialist, James Alexander-Gordon.
Canon League Division 1. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1. Aston Villa 1, Coventry City 0. Everton 1, Tottenham Hotspur 4. Leicester City 2, Newcastle United 3. Luton Town 2, Stoke City 0. Manchester United 1, Watford 1. Norwich City 3, Liverpool 3. Queen's Park Rangers 3, West Bromwich Albion 1. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Sunderland 3, Southampton 1. West Ham United 0, Ipswich Town 0. Division 2, Cardiff City 0, Charlton Athletic 3. Carlisle United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 3. Crystal Palace 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Fulham 1, Shrewsbury Town 2. Grimsby Town 1, Barnsley 0. Huddersfield Town 0, Oxford United 3. Notts County 1, Leeds United 2. Oldham Athletic 0, Birmingham City 1. Portsmouth 1, Middlesbrough 0. Wimbledon 2, Manchester City 2. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Sheffield United 2. Division 3, Bolton Wanderers 0, Bristol Rovers 1. Bournemouth 1, Derby County 0. Bradford City 2, Cambridge United 0. Brentford 0, Orient 1. Bristol City 2, Wigan Athletic 0. Burnley 1, Plymouth Argyle 1. Gillingham 1, Newport County 1. Lincoln City 0, Hull City 0. Millwall 2, Swansea City 0. Preston North End 2, Doncaster Rovers 0. Reading 1, Rotherham United 0. York City 1, Walsall 1. Division 4, Chester City 1, Scunthorpe United 1. Chesterfield 2, Aldershot 1. Colchester United 3, Southend United 3. Crewe Alexandra 3, Torquay United 0. Darlington 1, Bury 1. Exeter City 5, Northampton Town 0. Halifax Town 0, Blackpool 2. Peterborough United 1, Tranmere Rovers 0. Port Vale 0, Mansfield Town 1. Rochdale 0, Hereford United 1. Stockport County 4, Hartlepool 1. Swindon Town 2, Wrexham 1. Scottish League Premier Division. Dumbarton 2, Dundee 1. Dundee United 0, Aberdeen 2. Hibernian 1, Heart of Midlothian 2. Morton 0, St Mirren 4. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. First Division, Ayr United 2, Forfar Athletic 0. Brecon City 3, Airdrieonians 0. Clyde 4, Kilmarnock 1. Falkirk 0, Clydebank 2. Hamilton Academical 2, East Fife 4. Motherwell 2, Partick Thistle 1. St Johnston 3, Meadowbank Thistle 2. Second Division, Albion Rovers 3, Queen of the South 4, Alloa Athletic 0, Stenhouse Muir 0, Arbroath 2, Stranraer 0, Berwick Rangers 4, Queen's Park 1, Cowdenbeath 5, Wraith Rovers 1, Montrose 2, Dunfermline Athletic 4, and finally Stirling Albion 2, East Stirlingshire 2.
Well, for our first match report of the new season, we look at the reigning champions Liverpool. On this first league Saturday, they were at Carrow Road, and after their defeat by Everton in the Charity Shield last Saturday, they at least picked up some reward this afternoon in a 3-3 draw with Norwich City. Reporting from Carrow Road, Ian Carnaby.
If we are entertained in this manner for the rest of the season, then we shall surely have no complaints. All right, Liverpool, having twice appeared to take control, weren't at their ruthless best, despite the ease with which Jan Molby fitted into midfield and the insistent way Paul Walsh made his presence felt. But what a match. Norwich were unlucky to go 2 down. Poor Steve Bruce headed past his own keeper in only 4 minutes, and Dalglish finished off a move between Lee and Walsh. Peter Mendham's determined running from midfield brought the game back to life. He made it 2-1 when Grobbelaar flapped it across. And then John Dean first earned and wasted a penalty. Come the second half, the old sweat, Shannon, Birchin and Dean probed and bustled away, and with the defence watching Shannon, Birchin toe-poked an equaliser. Liverpool's sheer professionalism then insisted that they regain their composure. And this they did, and when Phil Neal scored from the spot following a very harsh decision on Haylock, the game seemed won and lost. But the denouement offered yet more. Shannon, sensing that Lawrenson might be tempted to balk him, was proven correct. His revenge from 12 yards in the very last minute was complete, and as the arm wheeled in a perfect advertisement for the mature man, you were left in no doubt. Football rules, OK.
Well, Manchester United began their league season with a home match against Watford, our commentary match earlier this afternoon. United, still tipped by many to be the strongest challenge to Liverpool's championship title, couldn't get it right today, despite the presence of their 3 new stars when they were held in a dramatic finish to a 1-1 draw. The details from George Hamilton.
If ever you needed proof of the saying that you cannot buy success, it was here for all to see at Old Trafford. For while United, with Brazil, Strachan and Olsen blossoming only fitfully, displayed the need of yet more hard work on the training ground, Watford, with their old boy Luther Blissett black in harness, hummed as sweetly as a well-tuned machine should do. They had all the early pressure while United struggled to put together a worthwhile attack. Then, midway through the first half, against the run of play, a rare nugget from Strachan. Seizing on a mishit clearance by Sherwood with admirable skill, he shuffled clear of his marker and 3 retreating United forwards all offside. Watford stopped, but the referee didn't want to know, and Strachan bustled on to be pulled down by the hapless Sherwood. He scored from the spot. But that was all the fairy godmother had to offer the little Scot. Watford, once recovered from the shock, still looked the better team. Bailey was the busier goalkeeper. Terry missed a sitter. And United sent on Whiteside for the struggling Brazil. It mattered little, for Watford still pressed forward. Big George Riley went on for John Barnes, won a free kick in injury time, then won the crucial header, and there was Nigel Callaghan to thump home the equaliser. Justice was done, and Watford are leaving with a point. And I'm sure that point is going to satisfy their manager, Graham Taylor, who's talking now to Mike Ingham.
Yes, I'm sure, Graham, and it's the old cliche, isn't it, that it's never over until the final whistle. You left it so late that you were overjoyed at the end, weren't you?
Oh, very pleased, because I think that justice was done, and I think we thoroughly deserved the point.
To come here on a first Saturday of the season, face 53,000 and £2 million worth of players, and yet you weren't undaunted by that.
No, and this was the greatest thing that pleased me. I thought that the team that I had out today put on probably its most disciplined performance since we went to Birmingham in the 6th round of the FA Cup last year. And they coped admirably, and I was very, very pleased with everything I saw from my team today.
George's report suggested that Manchester United scored against the run of play, and a lot of appealing in the Watford ranks against that goal. How do you see it?
Well, I think the thing is this, that it wasn't a sort of misplaced kick by Steve Sherwood. It was a goal clearance that, in fact, Strachan knocked down for his chest and carried on going through. We felt very, very strongly that, I think it was Alan Brazil, was very much in an offside position to interfere with play. But the referee decided it wasn't the case, went on, and a penalty was given because of a one-to-one situation, and they scored. However bad the decisions, we try very hard as we can to accept them, and I thought we accepted that decision quite well.
We thought that you'd bought Mo Johnson to replace Luther Blissett last year, and yet you had them together today.
Yes, I mean, we bought Maurice Johnson last season to replace Luther simply because he was in Italy. We've now got Luther back, and it certainly isn't my intention to be sort of, just by bringing Luther back, to be selling any of the Watford players who have done so well, unless other clubs do come in and make what I consider to be the correct offer. They're under contract to us, and it's a simple case of any other club wishes to buy any of the Watford players, I expect them to make the offer in the proper manner.
The first season in the First Division, runners-up. The second season, FA Cup runners-up. What are your priorities for the third season?
Just to finish in the top half of the table, and hopefully, if we can keep in there, have a crack to see if we can qualify for Europe. But this team's in the early stages of developing itself in what I hope will be a good, solid First Division side that probably one day might cause a few more surprises and hopefully cause them in the not-too-distant future.
You've got as many points as Liverpool and Manchester United, Graham, tonight. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Graham Taylor there, highly pleased Watford manager talking with Mike Ingham. Well, up on Merseyside, Evertonians will tell you that their team will now at last challenge the long-standing supremacy of Liverpool for winning things. But despite their triumphs in last season's FA Cup final and the recent Charity Shield match, Everton totally lost their way today, soundly beaten 4-1 at home by Tottenham Hotspur. Our man at Goodison Park, Stuart Hall.
At 2:55, Everton paraded 3 trophies, the FA Cup, the FA Youth Cup and the Charity Shield. Their fans, Shakespeare buffs, cried, "Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by Howard, son of Kendall." Adrian Heath smote an Everton penalty on 50 minutes, and 36,000 celebrated. But then Spurs wrecked the scenario and stole the play with 2 goals in a minute. 38 minutes, Mark Falco won an eyeball-to-eyeball with Southall and toe-poked the equaliser. Clive Allen's first goal for Spurs was a beauty from the left of the penalty box. Spurs, incredibly, 2-1 up. 54 minutes, Mark Falco made a sizzling run down the left. His cross was missed by Allen and Mountfield, but little Guidosi met the ball with his head, and the ball trickled in via the post. 4 minutes later, a hint of Spurs steel. Gary Stevens' magnificent firm tackle made the play. Galvin ran strongly to his pass. Clive Allen finished the move. 4-1 to Spurs, Everton taken apart and stunned. Andy Gray replaced Kevin Richardson to impart variation in the Everton play, but Spurs under Peter Shreeves are a determined side. Today, no Hoddle, no Ardiles. Mabbott was substitute, but their tackling was vice-like, the running strong, and the motivation high. Just how high was the motivation today, Peter Shreeves, the Spurs manager?
Well, to come to Everton in my first game as manager and win 4-1 was a great start for me and the team. I felt the basis of the win was our teamwork generally. I don't think we had one particular star. I was pleased with every Spurs player.
Was it a mistake of Everton to parade those 3 trophies and really get the crowd on a bit of a hype, especially in the hot sun?
I think my players were quite pleased when they went out and warmed up to see this happening because we've won cups in the past and we've always avoided that situation. I think it's not the correct thing to do. But I don't run Everton. My job is to organise Tottenham.
Now, I remember talking to Keith, the previous manager, at the end of the season, and he said, my Monte Carlo board want a little bit more steel. They want steel. Well, we saw a bit today. Do you agree?
Well, I think we played some good football as well. Young Mickey Hazard in the middle of the field. I think his quality mainly is accurate passing. Gary Stevens had an excellent game for me in the middle of the field. Done a lot of hard work in there. You have to play hard or home and away in the First Division, and I still feel we're going to be a passing team rather than a still side, but you must have that quality.
But there's even more and more strong running. Maybe a little style has gone out of the team from what we used to for Spurs at the expense of the strong running and the tackling. Would you agree?
Well, I thought it was quite a stylish performance, but I do take your point. I mean, we're delighted to win. I think what I've got to make sure that the boys do now is come down to earth. We have a difficult match on Monday against Leicester, and OK, I'm pleased that we've won, but now we must concentrate on the next home match.
Now, what are you in the odds, the bookies' odds to win the championship, Peter? Can you quote me?
I'm not absolutely sure. I think we're about 9 or 12 to 1, and whether this performance today will change that, that's up to the bookmakers.
Will you have a bob or two on yourselves?
Well, I think we've got a few betting boys in the club. I'm sure that they might back themselves, yes.
Peter, nice to see you back. Congratulations again. Back to London, Peter.
Tottenham's new manager there, Peter Shreeves, talking with Stuart Hall.